My name is Vasco, and with me, Mario.
Hello.
You are listening to the Omnia Show.
We're gonna talk about Pootie Tang, um, which is a movie made by Louis C.K. in 2001. Um, I think it's his second feature film. Um, he released in 90. He didn't actually release it till a few months ago, but he shot in 98 this other film called Tomorrow Night. But this was his official first feature film called Pootie Tang. Um, what did you think about it?
It's fucking insane. Uh, you've never seen anything like this. It's just crazy, surreal. Uh, yeah, it stars a lot of famous people that now you know from other things like Chris Rock, the guy from Curb. I don't know the name of the actor.
He
Um,
plays Leon.
yeah, exactly. And and the woman from the news is the same woman from um, from Lucky Louie, the wife of the friend of the fat friend of
Yeah,
the boss. Actually, he's the boss from Louie in Lucky Louie. Um, yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to talk about it. Um, uh,
I think
and
if
then
you think in terms of comedy, good comedy films, the only references I can think about is Monty Python, um, and I think that's it. Because in terms of comedy in films, it's really difficult to do something truly cinematically comic, in the sense
yeah,
that it's not jokes people are telling or something. It's
yeah.
comedy through the movie language. Um,
Almost like you'd think that Charlie Chaplin isn't comedy, for example.
yes.
Like, yeah, film comedy is. I think it's something I don't understand very well. I can't like I almost can't relate the two of them. Like
Yeah.
it seems like it doesn't match. It's too. They are way two different things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just this this movie. Like you watch it and it's Louis all over it. Like you can see
Yeah.
many like not references but moments that you just can tell that it was it was him who did it. Like
Yeah.
um, I don't know. Like yeah, if the thing about this movie, it's so full of all this controversy behind it because uh, the production company wasn't satisfied with the outcome of the movie.
Yeah.
So Louis didn't even have any power in the editing of the movie, and as you know, editing is super important uh, in a movie. It's everything. It's what makes the movie.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you shot. It can be turned into a horror movie, comedy, whatever you want. Editing is everything. And if he didn't have any power in the editing, I almost feel yeah, it's hard for me to accept this as a Louis C.K. movie
Yeah.
because and he's such a editing guy. Like he edits everything he does, everything he films. He's the one editing it. So if he didn't have any editing power in this,
Yeah.
it's really hard for me yeah, to think this is a Louis C.K. movie and this is what he wanted to portray.
But
Um,
I already knew that story about him not having power, about
mhm,
the editing when I saw the movie, and I was constantly re-editing in my head, um, in the sense that I was um, kind of trying to understand what Louis was thinking, and not seeing the movie as it is, but how what's behind all that. And I realized that it's all very masked. This editing is masking a lot of stuff, like making it more pretty with a lot of music and a lot of background stuff, and I think it made it more commercial and more uh yeah, more normal than Louis would have wanted. He was going for a much even crazier thing, even darker, and this made it lighter, and it probably ruined it a little bit. This
mhm.
editing was kind of too much the same. It was really repetitive, and but in the same way I like it, because I recognize Louis in the same
Yeah.
way. Yeah.
Mm.
I was reading
So I mean,
reviews. Uh,
yeah.
I was reading about the reviews of Pootie Tang, and they were all awful. Everyone hated it and thought it was the dumbest movie, and that it's only funny because it's really dumb and stupid. But I think that's a bit ridiculous. This is not the average dumb film.
Yeah, exactly.
This is much
Yeah.
more than that. I think if you look at it with the eyes of someone from cinema, like a true movie goer or a cinephile, if you look at it without any presuppositions that it's a comedy or something, you actually can find a lot of interesting things. There's an aesthetic full of mystery and sense of humor, and it's really tough to describe. But yeah, there's a mood also created by that constant pop music, like in the background. I really like that.
Mhm.
It's really funny.
Yeah, and there's a very weird, like there are some shots in the movie,
Yeah.
like there are some moments that are very specific. Like you remember the whole when he when the corn plant dies
Yeah. Yeah.
and Chris Rock appears in the suit as his father,
Yeah.
as a corn, and then the mother comes as a cow. It's got a very like almost a Wizard of Oz look thing.
Uh-huh.
Uh, and the movie is almost full of all these different looks as well.
Yeah.
Like all those scenes from
It's
when,
schizophrenic. It's very schizophrenic.
yeah, yeah, it's very. You remember every time when he meets this, like now we're gonna call him Leon just because of Curb,
Yeah. Yeah.
and Chris Rock in the street when he meets his friends.
Yeah. Oh, the
It's
handheld shot.
yeah,
Yeah, I really love that. It's
it's a
really
very like do the right thing kind of
yeah,
look,
exactly.
and everything's like semi-abandoned around him.
Yeah.
it's a very, it looks like you have all these different settings because when it goes for that corporate environment, when they are in the how's it called, corporate America, corporate the
Yeah, yeah, I think
it,
it's
it
corporate America.
yeah, exactly, corporate America. It has a different look as well. It looks very professional. It's
Yeah,
all very on tripod esque.
yeah,
It's all very like well lit. And then you got like the crazy party thing going on when they are dancing or whatever. And then you have that Hong Kongy thing every time he uses the belt
yeah,
and the fight sequences.
yeah,
So it's almost like the movie is divided into these, yeah, like different parts. There are different moods, different
yeah,
settings, and Puri kind of jumps around from one to another, and he changes a lot in each one, like his attitude as well.
yeah,
Like when he is with his friends, he almost seems like less crazy and
yeah,
quirky, and but when he is dancing or around people, he's going mental. Like he walks like in a very weird way. He acts differently, and then you got the whole thing in the countryside where he's very calm,
yeah,
and then when he returns and confronts the corporate America and stuff, there he changes as well. Uh, yeah, and how can we not mention the fact that Chris Rock plays three different characters in this movie?
yeah,
He plays his father who dies, then he plays his friend, and this crazy radio guy as well. He does that a lot. I told you the other day about in Louis,
uh-huh,
the actor who does his father also portrays his uncle, and also portrays this guy from a swing couple
yeah,
who wanna have sex with him, with Louis.
mm,
Yeah, I think he likes that a lot. I think he likes the weirdness. He likes
yeah,
the he likes that people go, "What the fuck?"
mm-hmm,
And he also likes the fact that some people don't notice it.
mm,
He was always talking about how uh, his children in Lucky Louie, the actress has changed, or his wife. The first time the wife appears when he signs the divorce
mm-hmm,
papers, she's white, and then she's black
yeah,
later. Just fucking crazy. But nobody noticed it. I mean, you don't think about it. Like the first time, I didn't think about it. Only the second time I rewatched the series, I noticed it.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, and with his father as well. I mean, this actor, this guy, I didn't notice it as well.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, I think he likes this. I think he loves mixing environments. He loves mixing moods.
yeah,
It's what I told you. When Louis was once in the Opie and Anthony show, he said, "I don't mind if an episode from Louis is not funny. It just has to be very something."
yeah, exactly.
And he's not worried. He's almost not worried about how it is. He just wants to explore a feeling or a moment to the extreme. And yeah, and that's a very different approach, very special approach, I think.
I'd be really interested to know how Louis C.K. Worked with this director of photography, because this guy also worked with Jean-Luc Godard in the freaking Nouvelle Vague, the French New Wave. Uh, so first of all,
Yeah, this guy has a lot of experience.
no, and also how wouldn't you expect these two guys to make a crazy movie? It's Louis
Yeah,
with this fucking
exactly.
guy that worked with Crazy Goddard. So,
Yeah,
what did you
yeah.
expect? It's awesome. I love that combination. It's so. And the guy, this guy is called Willie Current. He was 71 years old when he directed the photography of Pootie Tang. It's so awesome.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Oh, other another thing, the original title was not just Pootie Tang, was Pootie Tang in the Senior Pity on the Runny Kind. It's
Uh,
it was this whole sentence.
uh, yeah, and we also have to mention the way Pootie talks.
Yeah,
I mean, it's fucking hilarious.
yeah.
The
I can I can really imagine Louis C.K. coming up with those
yeah, exactly, exactly.
and
Yeah.
laughing so hard every time.
What a ta!
Yeah, I
Every
really
time,
like.
every time Pootie says, instead of saying like yes, he says what a ta. It's fucking hilarious. And he just talks like crazy. Like it's amazing. It's amazing.
I love the dance, the dance. The girl, the actress is called Vanda Sykes.
Yeah,
She
she's
she's
in Curb as
always
well.
dancing. I really like that. It's
Ah,
such a
yeah, that
funny
she's always
idea.
dancing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's just the most. It's the funniest dance, and it's the funniest idea of this girl. It. She dances. That's her thing.
yeah. I don't know. Did you notice in everything that Louis does? Well, everything Louis, the TV series, and this.
Uh-huh.
Every character, they are a very. They have. They are. How do you? They are characters. They are not people. Every single person in one of his projects or something, they talk in a very distinct way. They always say the same thing. Always say the same things in the sense you know them really quickly. Every single character. Everyone is very something. Like Chris Rock, like he has this very specific way of talking, of thinking in the movie. I mean,
Yeah,
Leon as well.
but I think the
Like,
exception there is his own character in Louis. He
exactly,
that's the complex, the
exactly,
profound, the mysterious, ambiguous
and
character.
that's super interesting.
Yeah. Like,
That's very nice because I mean, yeah, you noticed it all. You noticed it all around, like his children as well.
uh-huh.
Pamela, like for example, every time you see Pamela in Louis, you know what she's going. You kind of know what she's going to say. You know how she's going to
Yeah,
react.
yeah,
And Louis is the only unpredictable thing.
yeah.
And I think this might sound crazy,
Mm.
but if Pootie was more like that, maybe the film would be more interesting. In the sense that everything is so yeah, I think if you close all characters like this,
Yeah,
then you haven't got an open movie. You haven't
yeah,
got room to advance, to change, to be surprised, to feel emotions because you have already seen them. You know what's going.
yeah,
And I think that's the this looks almost like a comic book
yeah,
where you can imagine like you have all these characters, all these things, and you could do hundreds of these comics books with you just change the situation, you get rid of corporate America and you put another
obstacle. Yeah,
yeah, and you will get always the same.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
right. Um, I love that Todd Barry look in his
Uh,
eyes. It's so funny.
yeah, Todd Barry also appears in this. He has a small scene
Yeah. That
in a
guy,
car.
that guy who is with him in the car, that old guy.
I
Who is that guy? I saw him on Louis, maybe.
don't know. I didn't. I
I
didn't.
recognize the actor from somewhere. He's really funny.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised
Yeah,
if it is in Louis because he's always using the same actors and
yeah.
because they're all his friends, so he's always inviting the same people to do everything. Uh,
I was searching on the internet and uh, it said that Conan O'Brien said many times on his show that Pootie Tang is one of his favorite movies of all time. And Conan
really,
O'Brien, yeah, Conan
that's
O'Brien is
amazing.
his friend from the 90s and the beginning of both of their careers. But it's really funny. And also, three different rappers like Snoop Dogg, Kanye West, and this guy Fat Tony, they all mention Pootie Tang in the music. There's references to Pootie Tang.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome. And also, I was listening to the Unbookables
Hmm.
from Doug Stanhope, which I had never listened. I listened to it the first time today, and
Oh, really?
yeah, first of all, it's really funny. But Doug Stanhope mentions Pootie Tang when
I
he's
don't remember.
describing when he's describing how a pimp he saw looked like. He said it looked like Pootie Tang, and people laughed like they all got the reference. It was awesome. Um, yeah, it's awesome.
That's amazing. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't seen it yet. I told you a long time ago to
I
watch
know,
it.
I know. But
Shit.
I had this feeling. I knew it wasn't only with Doug Stanhope. There were other comedians, and I was afraid it wouldn't be as much fun. But it is. It's really
No, it's great.
because
Yeah.
his friends are like him. I wasn't.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. It's like
Yeah,
it's this group. It's like this movement
yeah,
of stand-up comedy. It's amazing. I love it. It's
yeah.
just great. That woman, I can't remember her name. It was so hilarious when she came up. She's all drunk, I think.
Mm.
That friend of theirs,
Uh-huh.
comedian as well, I guess.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, what I think is maybe, uh, well, probably it should have already been, but maybe Pootie Tang is like this secret underground movie
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that is not like talked about like Pulp Fiction or something like that. In the sense that it's this thing that very, very few people know and like, and nobody really talks about it.
Yeah.
I
I'd
think.
really
I
love
think.
it to be like a cult
Yeah,
movie,
yeah.
like people
Like
gathered
with
once a
posters and
year.
stuff in your room.
Yeah, and people gathered once a year and saw the movie all together, and
Yeah,
it's such a
like pop.
party movie. If you see that with your friends, it's the most hilarious thing.
Uh,
And
yeah, it's like a Rocky Horror Picture Show, an American Rocky Horror Picture Show.
yeah, and I was when I watched the movie, it never came up in my mind that that was dumb, that was dumb comedy or something. I just because I had Louis in mind probably, but also because the movie doesn't. I found so many things so interesting, like the different shots and the different characters. I was more interested in that than any narrative or even the dumb things, or because superficially it might look dumb, but it's really interesting. It's more than that.
I
Um,
think I think we talked about this many times, which is it's easy to hate. It's easy to say it's cheap. It's easy to say,
Yeah.
and but I think at times when you got someone like Louis and like this DP uh,
Yeah.
that did great movies, that has a huge historial. I mean,
Uh-huh.
uh, you can't just go, ah, it's shit or something. You have to put some thought into it.
Yeah.
You have to, you have to be more delicate. It's just, it's there's no way these two guys meet and that they are not thinking about what they are doing.
Yeah, obviously.
So
I
yeah,
thought
I think
maybe I really think now that maybe the editing ruined it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, completely. Yeah. And you notice it like it's badly edited as well.
Yeah.
It's annoying. Like um there's this part I it annoyed me so much that they do this transition almost
Oh yeah, yeah.
like it's a TV show. Like
Yeah.
did you notice the
Yes, yes.
I can't remember. It's like this stupid transition, like a cheap,
Yeah.
like it's fucking Two and a Half Men.
Yeah. It was
It's
it's
the
really
fuck.
edited by corporate America, ironically. It's
Yeah,
really
exactly. That's a very good
Louis
statement.
C.K. is like Pootie Tang. He turned into Pootie Tang while making a movie against corporate America. It's like they edited it like it's a normal movie, but it's not. It's just, and they were trying to save it. I think they were very careful and nervous not to lose too much money with the movie, so they tried to edit it and compress it and make it look normal, and they failed completely. I think they should have just let Louis do his thing, and it would have been amazing. Um, yeah, and also that incompleteness or this imperfection that the movie sort of has. You were talking about Beer Hall Putsch, and you said the same thing. It's like it's an imperfect and things don't match, but that's what makes it great.
Yeah,
It's so fragmented and crazy, and it's just a fucking it's a dream. It's like a Louis C.K. dream. He had a
yeah,
dream, and
exactly.
yeah.
But that's the thing. That's I think that's the only limit that the movie actually has, which is if you don't know Louis C.K., if you're not familiarized with him,
Mm-hmm.
I think it can be very difficult to watch the movie because we are in a very specific situation. I mean,
Yeah,
we are fans. We know him like like our hands.
yeah, yeah. That's right. But yeah,
So for us, I think it's very easy to like forgive in a sense.
yeah, but
So I think that's a very big limitation. Like, but but still, I think if you are open minded
yeah, exactly, exactly.
and you are not very judgmental, I think I think it's easy for you to like it. I think it's easy for you to go, this is this is fucking crazy. I love it.
It's so
So
exciting. The movie is also exciting. It's all
okay, the thing is, the only thing I can judge Louis on is he made the movie with Paramount,
yeah,
and he should know what he was dealing with. In the sense of like, because in the end, this is as a very specific type of audience,
yeah,
and a Paramount. I mean, you see, you see the symbol of Paramount, and it's like this symbol of respect and money and everything. I mean, how many movies did we see, like major movies, huge movies?
yeah. But they read the script. I mean, they knew what they were.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
What I wonder is if they would have just let him edit it. What I don't get is did he ever edit the movie like he wanted to?
um, I think he did, or
And
at
he
least
showed it,
he's,
the
yeah,
result to them, and
yeah,
they said it's shit, and they changed it.
exactly.
Wow, so that's really crazy.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they saw the whole thing or if Louis even finished it, but yeah, they saw what Louis wanted to do with it. But probably it wasn't Paramount, like big Paramount. It's a fucking stupid producer. Like, I don't know. It's not. They've made so many movies. Like, it's not. It wasn't this huge thing. I think it's some asshole producer didn't get the movie, and then he talked to his bosses upstairs and just told them something stupid, and they were very nervous about the money or something.
Mm. Yeah. It also has a very 90s feel to it, the movie, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Like, it really reminds you, like, it reminded me of, uh, I said it before,
Do the
Do the
wrong
Right
thing.
Thing.
Do the right thing. Yeah.
It reminded me a lot of that environment, not only because it's black people, it's around black people,
Mm-hmm.
but the whole mood of how people
Yeah.
engage in conversations and stuff. Um, yeah, the movie is actually not very long. I thought it was longer. It's 1 hour and 20 minutes, I think, without the credits.
Uh-huh.
Uh, yeah, that's very Louis-esque, right? I would never imagine Louis doing a
Uh-huh.
2 hour movie.
Yeah.
That's very stand-up comedian. That's a very stand-up comedian attitude, which is you want you want
An
you don't
hour.
want to take too long. You don't want to take too long. Exactly. You want an hour. You
Yeah.
want an hour. So yeah, the whole thing. I think what we were talking about in the beginning is very interesting, which is comedy movies.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's I think it's a very interesting subject to talk about because, you know, I think we talked about this probably in the past, which is I have a very difficult opinion on genres, which is because it's too. I mean, for example, the whole science fiction thing. How can you have a science fiction genre? Like,
There's not such thing as genre in the modern cinema. It was
yeah,
basically invented
probably.
by Hollywood. It was invented by Hollywood in the classical movie era. It doesn't make any sense in the true um
I'm look.
the
I'll tell you something. You know how genres don't exist. From the minute you describe a movie with more than one genre, you're already saying there is no genre. You understand what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but
if
it's
you,
more complex than that. It's just if you think about Ozu or anyone, just there's no genre. It's a movie. It's a film. Like,
yeah, I know.
doesn't
Well,
matter.
yeah, but I think, uh, for example, Charlie Chaplin, I think he's a perfect example of that. Like, you could almost give him every single genre type, and almost all of them would match. Like historical, comedy, drama, adventure, action, like everything fits. Like
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. It's a movie. It's
yeah,
I don't know. I think people are obsessed with description and putting things into boxes. You already have a trailer, which gives you so much of a movie. It gives you so much information.
Mhm.
Now you're all giving it a genre as well. You're writing a summary about the movie as well. I
Yeah.
mean, you're putting sentences from reviewers from the New York Times or whatever. It's like you're you're completely dissecting the movie in a wrong way before people even see it
Mhm.
at the extreme. And I think genre is only, yeah, it's only that, is you want to know what you are going to see. You want to know, you already have a poster, you're already seeing characters, you're already seeing a mood, you're already like you are given so much, so much. Why more? Why more? Why give it a rating? Why go on the internet and see the ratings people give movies?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what other people think.
Yeah.
You already go to the cinema, to your standard uh, Hollywood uh, cinema in a big city or small city, for the matter
Mhm.
of fact. And you go there and you have like, I don't know, 10 options, 8 options, 6, sometimes a little bit more, but I mean, it's not even that much.
Uh-huh.
How wrong can you go? Like, it's not like you have a billion movies and you need a perfect description to see what suits you, what type of thing do you want to see. I think poster is like, it's the perfect delivery because it does the opposite. A trailer is ridiculous unless I imagine if I ever do a trailer for a movie that I do,
Mhm.
it will be done like in Rope, Alfred Hitchcock's Rope. I think that's only a genius could pick the concept of a trailer and change it completely,
Yeah, I
which
was
is
thinking about that also. Yeah.
you do a separate movie, you do a
Exactly.
separate thing that it's genius. I saw that and I thought, holy shit,
Uh-huh.
this is perfect. Why isn't everyone doing that? It's You're not spoiling anything. You're making people anxious to find out what is going to happen.
Yeah.
But I think this has a lot to do with what we talked about many times, which is people don't want to be surprised. People don't want people don't want to
Yeah.
people go out. It's like Louis says. You go out, you have to find a parking, you're having a tough moment with your girlfriend or whatever, and you go there and you're looking for a specific mood to, I don't know, cheer you up or bring you down more or whatever, and you want a guaranteed emotion. You want yeah, you want to go, that's what people are always doing now. Like, you want reviews, you want constant guarantees of what you are going to get.
Yeah. But at the
And
same time, we know that advertising nowadays is all false advertising. Like if you see an ad for a soap or something on TV, it's also beautiful and clean and perfect that you know it's false advertising. I think that's part of the culture now. It's present in everything. Even Facebook is false advertising for people. It's everything is too much, too perfect. And trailers are also fucking gorgeous and pretty so that people will see the movies.
I told this, I don't remember who, some time ago, which is, isn't it amazing how you have two completely different movies, and in both you have the exact same guy
Uh-huh.
talking in the background?
Yeah.
Like, how is it possible that Star Wars, for example,
Yeah.
and Pootie Tang have the same guy talking in the trailer? How is that even conceivable?
Yeah.
It's like, I think that shows. I think that shows exactly what we're dealing with, which is these pancakes. It's like, use the same guy, always the same format,
Yeah.
always with the guy opening saying this summer or this fall or this winter or this Christmas, and always ending with in cinemas with the date. All the dates have the same size of when it's coming out. It's just it's so disturbing. It's like
I really like that about Pootie Tang is that it seems mainstream, but it's not. It's so
no,
awesome.
it's completely not. It's
I
completely not.
really am really satisfied with the idea that all these people went to see this because of the poster and trailer, and then they
Yeah, and
got
they
completely
got nothing.
disappointed
They got
just because they
absolutely nothing.
didn't get it. I really like that idea. It's so cool
Hmm.
that the movie just was so fucking awesome, and people didn't get it. It's
Yeah, yeah. I wonder if Louis is going to do. Look, I'll tell you something. In that retirement podcast that Doug did,
uh-huh.
I told you they talk about Louis. They're talking about, they're goofing, Doug's goofing, saying like, "Oh, I was in movies. I was in TV shows. I'm very famous,"
Mhm.
and they start saying like famous movies and things he was on, and nobody mentioned Louis the TV series. And then the guy said, "Oh, you were on the Louis C.K. show. You were on his show."
Uh-huh.
And he said, "Yeah, yeah, Louis." And then he says something like, "Oh, he won't answer my calls." But I also don't answer nobody's calls. And then he said, "Oh, I'm joking." So in the end, you don't get what the relationship is like. But what I found, and I hadn't thought about this, which is, like, one of the guys there who's talking with him on the podcast, he says, uh, "Oh, but he's going to do a movie eventually. Like, he's famous now and stuff. He's going to do a movie. Maybe he can put you in the movie." Yeah, when he does one, and they are like, "No, no." He's like, "Yeah, he's got money. It's like he's famous and stuff." And you're like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
So actually now and then I started thinking, yeah, what if he does a movie again? I think he is kind of traumatized, and I think Louis, the TV series, it
Uh-huh.
satisfies him so much because we talked about this before. He's not doing TV in Louis.
Yeah.
It's a movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that's not a TV format at all. Besides the fact that you have ads in the middle,
Yeah.
the way it's shot, the whole rhythm. I mean, uh, uh, Larry David always talked about how TV is a writer's medium and film is a director's medium.
Yeah.
And I think the line is starting to break. Things are starting to change. And you can tell this in almost any TV series, like all these recent uh, TV series, especially the HBO ones. The Wire started a lot with I think The Wire is mainly responsible for that, which is you are watching, and if someone goes inside the room, inside your living room, and and someone sees you watching The Wire on television, they are going to think it's a movie. Nobody would tell it's a TV show, and it's very old. It started in like 2001 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, now you've got all this Breaking Bad thing going on as well, Game of Thrones, and everything's perfectly shot. It's got movie qualities to it.
Yeah.
But Louis, I mean, even more. I mean, so much more. Like the whole. What I think is more interesting about Louis is he's almost like doing experimental film on television.
Yeah.
And that's something that seems surreal, like in the sense that you think, how is it possible? Yeah, I mean, I never, we talked about this before, which is the whole, when you study film, you always have this sense TV is almost like a, not almost, you always feel like it's a secondary art, or that it's not even an art form. It's like
Yeah,
it's
of
this
course.
thing. And he sort of broke that barrier for me completely. Like I watched it and I thought, holy shit, like this is for real.
Yeah.
This is so different from anything that I saw. And I think after I saw Louis for the first time, I thought I would totally not mind doing something like this for some time. Like it could be
Uh-huh.
interesting and fun, and yeah, like it just completely blew me off in the sense of the respect I have for television. And I think he's really leading a new wave into how television is being made today, or how television series are being made. And I think FX is very responsible for that. Um,
Yeah.
Sons of Anarchy is also like a very distinct show, and I think they really have their. I think FX is really doing like they're really doing nice things now. They're really, yeah, projecting nice things out there, nice projects.
Yeah, and television should be much more like that. They should just pick out creative people like Louis, and just not necessarily in comedy, but any area. Give them not so much money, because it's ridiculous. With money comes control and comes stupidity. Just give people little money to do big things, big
Hmm.
adventurous projects, like inventive, creative things.
Hmm.
Um, it's funny how the other day you said that you didn't have a good image in your mind about radio until you listened to XFM, for example, uh, the Ricky Gervais show. And it's funny how you said the same thing about television, and it's all through comedy. It's
Yeah,
very interesting.
definitely enough. Yeah.
Uh, Comedy really should be taken should be taken more seriously. Um, it really opens up, yeah, the radio and television mediums, like
Uh-huh.
um,
Yeah, it's really. I'm really curious. But what's bothering me now a little bit is HBO is starting to set a new standard in what television series are. In the sense that now you're seeing like a new wave of television. All these shows like, I don't know, Brothers and Sisters and Grey's Anatomy and things like that. I think they will start soon enough, they will all start to disappear. And this whole HBO new look type of thing, that will become the standard. I mean, you see now like The House of Cards, for example.
Uh-huh.
It has exactly the same look, like the same feel. It's this edgy, different. I think people were so desperate for a new type of television that it's becoming the standards. I think we are soon enough we will see like the maximum height of quality television of everyone tries to be experimental, everyone tries to do new things.
Yeah.
I
I
think I th- I think television is growing way more than film is nowadays. Like people are putting way more effort. Film is the opposite. We are seeing it's narrowing down and down and down with this whole what we always describe as this Vimeo looking type
Yeah, because
look.
there's more money to be made on TV,
Of course, yeah.
but I think that's a good thing. This thing about television becoming more cinematic and everything, I think that's good because finally cinema will have a good reason, and especially Hollywood, to fucking make something up, like reinvent themselves into good cinema again, like
Exactly.
because if
Yeah, I agree.
television can now copy everything, the image, editing, actors, everything, directors, everyone is just jumping to the television boat. Uh, that should be a wake up call to cinema.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think
Mhm.
that's the good thing. But the bad thing is that people are starting to care less about cinema. Like people can watch a film on DVD and not even understand that it's not the same thing as watching it on a proper theater.
Yeah, I saw. I don't remember with who it was, but I think it was with the director of Twin Peaks, the guy who
David
David
Lynch?
Lynch.
Yeah.
I think it was in an interview with David Lynch, and he said the best scripts are going to television now. They are not going to film productions.
Yeah.
And what I think is less and less money started going to movie productions. Like in 2000, I don't know, 6, 2000. I think Avatar was probably the peak, was like the last. It was like the peak of when everyone went to the cinema. I remember when I was, I don't know, when I was younger. I mean, it was a crazy thing. You remember from like 2000, I don't know,
Yeah.
4, 2003, to until kind of like Avatar. It was crazy. Like I went almost every single weekend to watch a film to the cinema, and it was these huge lines of people buying tickets. Like it
Yeah.
was just insane. And I think so much money started going into movies, so many movies started being made that everything started running out. People were obsessed about success and obsessed with making a lot of money with movies. And what I think is, I think many productions lost a lot of money in many projects because if you go to Wikipedia and you see the list of the biggest flops in movie history,
Uh-huh.
I can almost guarantee you that the 21st are all in these years, are all from 2003 until 2000. When did Avatar came out? Like 2009, something like that, 2010.
Yeah, probably.
So
2009. 9.
what I think is movie was always a cheap medium, and people with good ideas you would invest in people who had different ideas and who had, because the true great writers, the true great uh, directors, they were all in Hollywood. You wouldn't go to TV.
Yeah.
So now I think it turned around. The good writers started leaving Hollywood and started doing film projects, TV projects.
Yeah.
And the problem is sort of like this gets dragged on with a lot of things. Sort of for actors, it's always also better to work in TV because you have, if especially if you are like the main character, you have for like 5 years, or in America like 6 years. Probably in average, it's probably like 6 7 years of guaranteed work. You have always work, money is always coming in. So for actors, it's also a lot better to work on TV. They feel more safe, especially for actors who like, for example, Boardwalk Empire. I think it's a great example because you have this very famous actor, Steve Buscemi,
Uh-huh.
like having a main role in a TV series. That's a lot of time being occupied. So yeah, I think um, I think movie culture and film can reinvent itself with TV.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, is this Finding Dory thing real or is this just Photoshop?
Yeah, Rita just asked me that. It's for real. It's for real.
I
Um,
can't. Okay. Apparently, Disney and Pixar are working together on making fi- Finding Dory. You remember Dory is the fish? It's the fish from Finding Nemo, the friend from Nemo's father, the one that doesn't shut up. In 2015 is coming out Finding Dory, and this portrays perfectly. It's almost amazing that Rita sent us this while we were doing the podcast, which is this is just karma. It's this describes perfectly what we are talking about, which is you get all these shit writers in Hollywood. I mean, Quentin Tarantino always talks about in his interviews like the luck, the amount of luck you have to have that a script that you write even gets written, even gets picked up
mhm.
and not thrown straight away in the garbage in Hollywood
Yeah.
is huge, is massive. You have these productions like Paramount that get in one day they will probably get 500 scripts, 400 scripts, and in each one of these the guy who wrote it spent, I don't know, a long time writing it.
Yeah.
And in the first page, if it's not attractive enough, it goes thrown away into the garbage.
It's
And
ridiculous.
you have to what I think is more interesting about this is the fact that Quentin was talking about this almost 20 years ago, like 15 years ago. So if 15 years ago it was that bad, I don't even want to imagine how it is now. And in that sense, I think what I think is we are not seeing the decline of cinema. We are seeing the decline of Hollywood and
Exactly.
not the rest. I think that
Of course.
many Asian countries are proving more and more that they are more than able to compete with Hollywood, and in the sense of making interesting and compelling stories and attracting a big audience. So I think we're just seeing the decline of Hollywood, and maybe now it's the time for European movies to start stepping up more
Yeah.
and start taking this opportunity that people are feeling this unsatisfaction with Hollywood movies, and maybe start bigger European productions, and maybe that's going to be interesting as well. But I definitely think in the near future many Asian countries they will have the upper hand in good storytelling, in good movie making, and I think they are already uh, we are already seeing that. But what I think interesting about about especially Japanese filmmakers is you almost have this feeling like they never had a downfall. They were always good. It's like how it almost seems like the the perfect art for them.
Yeah.
Uh, this can be a little bit. I can be maybe I'm generalizing a bit, but the thing is like I think I told you about this movie once, which is called. It's a Korean movie,
Mm.
and it's called 30 People Under Fire or something. It's nothing like this, but it's this very. I mean, you see it, and if they were talking in English,
Uh-huh.
this movie would have been massive around the world.
Yeah.
But because it's a Korean production, because it doesn't go into our cinemas, nobody will ever hear about it. But you see it, and it's like it's better than any Hollywood movie using Hollywood technique, using Hollywood
Yeah.
ideas. Like it's amazing. Like I saw it with my father, and he was like, "How the hell How the hell aren't we more aware of this? Like it's crazy. It's
Yeah.
it's really it's fantastic."
I
So
think
yeah, yeah, you were
um,
saying?
this thing of globalization, it kind of hasn't happened yet. I think you can see that we're talking about this blindness almost that America has over Europe, that they don't understand, they don't recognize that Europe is different and it's better in many senses, and I think that blindness of America towards Europe is the same as the blindness as we in the occidental part of the world have towards Orient.
Western, you mean Western?
Yeah, obviously Western. Towards East
Eastern
Eastern.
cultures.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's very
Not
true.
just about cinema, but life. We should really be more open to
Yeah.
yeah to what those Asians have to say.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to choose the song for today?
I'm gonna play a song by Bad Not Good called Cmyk, Cmyk, and it's a cover from James Blake in a more jazzy. They give it a more jazzy feel to it. Um, yeah, we're gonna leave you with that, and our next podcast we're gonna talk about Todd Barry's crowd work, which we promised to do actually. The last podcast we said it would be the second podcast, but
Yeah.
we changed our mind, and it's actually going to be the third.
Yeah.
So, yeah, bye.